Now coming to some other properties of carboxylic acid, we will see when carboxylic acid reacts with ammonia, RCOOH plus HNH2, that is ammonia. What is going to form? See here, HOH is removed from here, and what you get? RCONH2 plus water. HOH is what? That is water is being removed. So this reaction takes place directly. We don't require any that is dehydrating agent or something like that. Directly it reacts. So simply what you have to do is that you have to heat it here. Alright, on heating it forms amides. Alright, for example, if you take here CH3 group, alright, CH3 group, that is CH3COH plus ammonia will give you CH3CONH2, that is acetamide or ethanamide plus water is being formed. We can say that. Clear? In this way, if you take benzoic acid, we will be getting benzamide C6H5CONH2. Benzoic acid is C6H5COH, you will be getting C6H5CONH2. Benzamide. Similarly, if you take two molecules of acid, let us say CH3COH, two molecules. Alright? And if I heat it simply, what will happen, you know? That is, one molecule of water will be removed on heating. And hence, what you will be getting it? CH3, that is CO, here CH3CO and one oxygen common plus water. This is known as acetic anhydride or simply known as ethanoic anhydride. See here, CH3CO, CH3CO and one oxygen common. So that is a common. Alright, so it is called as ethanoic, 2 carbon eth. Here also 2 carbon. Don't say diethanoic, it is ethanoic anhydride. Because always 2 molecules of acid you require to remove 1 molecule of water. Always. Any acid it is, any acid. 2 molecules you take, then only you will be getting anhydride. 1 molecule of water will be removed, so to say. Clear? In this way. So, that is if you are heating it. So, you will be getting it. Now, next is here you need one dehydrating agent, that is P2O5 on heating. So, P2O5 phosphorus pentoxide is a dehydrating agent. It removes water. So to say. So, on heating we are getting that's anhydride. Now, next is similarly if you take that is acid. If you take it, that is acid means you will be taking here dicarboxylic acid. Here I have taken monocarboxylic acid. Now, if you take dicarboxylic acid, what you have to do is that you can take 1 molecule of acid, it will do. But if you are taking monocarboxylic acid, just now I said you have to take 2 molecule of acid because I want 2 COH group. Understood? But if I take malonic acid, dicarboxylic acid, one example is your malonic acid. This is malonic acid. You have studied in nomenclature. Malonic acid. If you are heating it, what will happen? Same thing. Water is removed. Alright. Same thing. Water is removed on heating it. Clear? But we are not going to see that. So here, while we heating at a very high temperature, I will be heating it. At a very high temperature, I will be heating it. So in that case, water will not be removed. Listen very carefully, children. Listen very carefully. So what I said, simply heating will remove water molecule. So to say, simply heating. But I will be heating at a very high temperature. That is nothing but 415 to 435 Kelvin. I will be heating it. Then what is going to happen? That is nothing but a cleavage is going to take place here. That is, the cleavage is going to take place either here or here. Alright, and hence what you are getting it, this particular molecule is removed. CH3, CH3 I'm saying, COO, carbon dioxide is removed. CO2. And what happens? This H now reacts with this CH2 to form what? CH3. And what I am getting it? COH. So you will be getting CH3COOH. But at ordinary temperature, mind it, on heating with P2O5 at ordinary temperature, what will be happening? Same thing, just like this. One water will be removed and you will be getting malonic anhydride. You will be getting malonic anhydride if you are heating at ordinary temperature at P2O5. But if you are heating at a high temperature, what will happen? The cleavage of bond is going to take place. The bond is break either this or this, any of the bond, and carbon dioxide will be removed as a gas. Understood? And hence you will be getting CH2 and H. CH3 and COH is nothing but CH3COH will be getting it. Clear? So in this way, malonic acid on heating at a very high temperature will be giving you acetic acid plus carbon dioxide, you will be getting it. So that is in this way you will be getting it, the different compounds on heating with different conditions. For that reason I say That organic chemistry, you need to understand the conditions. Once you understand the conditions, once you learn the conditions, then organic is very simple. You have to remember the conditions, because the condition changes, the product also changes. Got it? So next, after that you will be going for that is Brodin-Huns-Diecker reaction. We can say that Brodine, Huns-Diecker, Hunsdiecker, Brodin-Huns-Diecker reaction. We can say that. Here we will be taking a silver salt of fatty acids. Let us say CH3COOAg I am taking. It's a silver salt of fatty acids. Got it? A carboxylic acid. Like this, the name of this compound is silver acetate or silver ethanoate. Silver acetate or silver ethanoate. You will be hitting it with bromine, Br2, and an inert solvent, CCl4. You will be taking an inert solvent, that is CCl4. That is reflux. We have to go for refluxation. I have told you what is refluxation. You will be heating this to liquid in a reflux condenser. You will be heating this to liquid in a reflux condenser. In a reflux condenser, when you will be heating it, in the liquid state they do not react, but on heating in a reflux condenser, alright, they are going to react in the vapor state. That is called refluxation. They are going to react in the vapor state, and what it is going to form? It is going to form AgBr first of all. Alright, it is going to form, that is nothing but AgBr plus carbon dioxide will be released. How carbon dioxide? Because this Ag, when it goes, means CO2 is being set free. So carbon dioxide is released. What is being left after that? CH3 and 1 Br. That's it. CH3Br. Alright. So in this way, this particular, let me tell you, this particular compound, this reaction is used to decrease the number of carbon atoms. When you will be doing the conversions, for decreasing the number of carbon atom, this compound is used. Because I am taking a silver acetate or silver ethanoate, I am getting methyl bromide. One carbon atom is decreased. So it is used for the descent of series. Remember it. While you write in your notebook, mention this point. That this particular reaction is used to decrease the number of carbon atom for descent of series. You will be seeing that in conversions, for descent of series, for decrease the number of carbon atom, this reaction I will be using it. Alright, fine. This is called as Brodin-Huns-Diecker reaction. We can say that. So if you take a C6H5 group, you will be getting here C6H5Br plus AgBr plus CO2. Alright, secondary product will be same. Instead of that C6H5Br I will be getting it. Instead of CH3Br I will be getting C6H5Br. Alright, so in this way we are getting it. Now carboxylic acid also undergoes reduction reaction. You know, when carboxylic acid will be reduced, what is going to form? First aldehyde, then alcohol, then alkanes. Alright, on complete reduction gives you alkanes. Just you go backward. Alright, in the oxidation series you have read it in hydrocarbons. Alkanes on oxidation gives alcohol, alcohol gives on oxidation gives aldehyde, aldehyde on oxidation gives carboxylic acid. Similarly, on reduction, carboxylic acid on reduction gives you aldehydes. Aldehydes on reduction will give you alcohols. Alcohols on reduction will give you alkanes. Just come backward. Alright, you need to remember this before doing the reactions. So now here what I am going to do is that, suppose I am taking here RCOOH, and I can take here, that is molecular hydrogen, or I can take here nascent hydrogen. If I take nascent hydrogen means within square bracket H, then you have to use a reducing agent like LiAlH4, lithium aluminium hydride. If you are taking nascent hydrogen, you will use LiAlH4, that is a reducing agent. But if you are taking molecular hydrogen, then you can go for catalytic reduction like nickel, platinum or palladium along with hydrogen, you are going to heat it, or you can take here copper chromite. Copper chromite, you can take it as a reducing, what you can say, agent. Here copper chromite acts as a catalyst, we can say that. Clear? Understood? Again I repeat, if you are taking here nascent hydrogen, don't write copper chromite. If you are writing this, don't write copper chromite. No, it's absolutely wrong. If you are taking nascent hydrogen, then you need to write here LiAlH4, reducing agent, because the LiAlH4 gives you nascent hydrogen. But if you are taking here molecular hydrogen, then you need to take either nickel or platinum or palladium, or you can take copper chromite. One new thing you learned. Alright, this also can be used instead of nickel, platinum or palladium. Alright, what it is going to do? It is going to reduce acid to alcohol. So here I have taken RCOH, I will be getting RCH2OH. Why not aldehyde? Because aldehyde is not a stable product. You have read it already. Aldehyde is not a stable product. So hence you will not be getting aldehyde. So H2O, you will balance it. You will see how many hydrogen is required here. Here 2, 3, 3 to 5. Here 1 is there, so 2H2. Alright, say this way. You can do it this particular one. Now if you are using a very strong reducing agent like HI, you are using it. Alright, like let me write what you can say compound CH3, CH2, COOH, propanoic acid. And I am using HI. HI is a very strong reducing agent, you know that. Among halogen acids, HI is a very strong reducing agent. And if you are taking HI, you need to take red phosphorus at 420 Kelvin. You will be heating it. Alright, so what you will be having is that now HI is a very strong reducing agent. It will reduce completely. That's completely means acid will be reduced to aldehyde, aldehyde will reduce to alcohol, and alcohol will reduce to alkenes. That is called completely. So how many carbon is there here? 3 carbons. So how many, what you will be getting it here? CH3, CH2, CH3. That is propane you are going to get it. Plus H2O plus I2. Because reducing, I2. Reducing agent reduces this compound but itself gets oxidized. So itself loses hydrogen and forms I2. Then you can balance it this particular one. You can balance it, you can put the hydrogen and you can see that how many hydrogen is required and accordingly you can do it. Fine. So in this way, this is complete reduction and here you will be getting up to alcohol, we can say that. Now, it's a very, very important reaction, I am going to come to it. Very, very important. Alright. Write it down. HVZ. HVZ reaction. What is that? Hell-Vollard-Zelensky reaction. I am writing it in the board. You see it. It's a very, very important reaction. The reaction is not so important, but the application of this reaction is very, very important. Alright? The application of this particular reaction is very, very important. What I said? HVZ reaction. Now, HVZ stands for Hell-Vollard-Zelensky. 3 scientists. Hell-Vollard-Zelensky. Hell-Vollard-Zelensky reaction, we can say that. Now, in this reaction, what you do is that you react, that is acetic acid or propionic acid, any acid, but it should have an alpha carbon atom present in it. That means you are not going to take your formic acid. You are going to take acetic, propionic or any other acid, you can take it. And you will be reacting with chlorine in presence of red phosphorus. Alright, you are going to react with chlorine or bromine, but don't take iodine, the reaction will be very, 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 very slow. Alright, fluorine not possible because highly explosive. So only left is your chlorine and bromine. You can do with chlorine or bromine, this particular reaction. What will happen? What I said, there should be an alpha carbon atom. So alpha carbon means there should be an also alpha hydrogen atom. So each alpha hydrogen atom will be replaced by halogens. Each alpha hydrogen atom will be replaced by halogens. Now listen here. If you are taking chlorine, then not only alpha hydrogen atom is replaced, but beyond alpha, suppose beta is there, gamma is there, that also will be replaced. That hydrogen atom will also be replaced. Listen carefully. But if you take bromine, then only alpha hydrogen atom will be replaced. Alright? You can do the reaction with chlorine or bromine, anything you can do it. But if you take chlorine, then not only alpha hydrogen atom, suppose if you have got beta hydrogen atom also. Beta means what? After COH group, you are having 2 carbon atoms. So 2 carbon atoms means it will be CH3, CH2, COH. Definitely the formula of the compound will be. So in this way, not only CH3, but also from CH2, the hydrogen atom will be replaced by the halogens. Instead, when you are taking chlorine, but if you are taking bromine, only the alpha hydrogen atom is being replaced. Only the alpha hydrogen atom, because bromine is less reactive than chlorine for that particular purpose. Only the alpha hydrogen atom will be replaced. Okay, so you are going to do the reaction. That is, let us say I am taking here CH3COOH plus Cl2 in presence of red phosphorus. Alright, plus Cl2 in presence of red phosphorus, you are going to do the particular reactions. Now what is going to happen? What I said, one hydrogen will be replaced. So you will be getting CH2Cl, see here, one hydrogen replaced by chlorine and you got COH. So where that hydrogen will go, it will react with one more chlorine to form minus HCl, a secondary product. Again it will react with let us say chlorine and red phosphorus to form what? CHCl2. One more hydrogen is replaced and COOH, you get it. Again minus HCl. Again you react with chlorine in presence of red phosphorus. You will be getting CCl3 COOH plus HCl. So all the hydrogen is replaced by chlorine, we can say that. Trichloroacetic acid. This is monochloroacetic acid, this is dichloroacetic acid, this is trichloroacetic acid. But stepwise the reaction takes place. One after another, the hydrogen atom is being replaced, we can say that. Got it? If you are having more hydrogen atom, means if you are having another, suppose carbon, and you are having hydrogen, that also can be done by chlorine. But if you take bromine, it cannot be done. Bromine can replace only the alpha hydrogen atom. It cannot replace the beta or the gamma hydrogen atom if at all is being present. Got it? Why? Because bromine is less reactive than chlorine for that particular purpose. Now, in this way, you got it, this particular one. See, the reaction is very easy. What is there in the reaction? Very simple it is. But the application is important. What is the application? You can replace this Cl by OH group. You can replace by NH2 group. NH2, got it? Amino. You can replace by CN group. You can replace by COH group. That means you can convert a carboxylic acid to a cyano compound, to another hydroxy compound. You can convert to another amino compound. Whatever you like, you can do it. Why? Because I said you already, halogens are highly reactive in nature. For that reason, Helmholtz-Zielinski reaction is so important. Because here you can convert carboxylic acid to any other compound containing an OH group present in it, containing an CN group present in it, containing another COH group present in it, containing another amino group present in it. Any group you can add it, you can replace it. Because chlorine is highly reactive, bromine is highly reactive. You know that, you have studied halogens are highly reactive in nature. You have read it also that during conversions, if you need to convert the compound, one compound to another, you need to convert into halides first. If it is possible, convert into halides first. Because once you convert into halides, you can convert into any other compound. You know it is. I have told you earlier. So here, one example I will give it to you so that you will understand it. Let us take here CH2ClCOOH. This compound I am taking it. Alright, I am reacting with KOH, aqueous. What will happen? You will be getting CH2, this Cl will be replaced by OH, and you will be getting COOK. Done? COOK. Now, to replace this K, I don't want this K, to replace this K. Now, I am not interested in the secondary product, that you forget. Now, what will I do? I will react with HCl. Got it? So, what will I be getting? I will be getting, that is nothing but CH2, this OH will be there, of course, and here it will be COOH, and here you will be getting KCl. H will come here. H will come here. So what is this compound is? What is this compound is? It is nothing but known as glycolic acid. Glycolic acid, we can say that. Glycolic acid. Clear? Now suppose if you take here ammonia, got it? Or any ammonium compound, but it's to take ammonia, you will be getting it. So here you will be getting what? You will be getting a CH2NH2. Let me write it down, that will be better. If you take here ammonia, H and H2. So you will be getting here also NH2, and here you will be getting COONH4, and you will be getting here NH4Cl. So how many nitrogen you got? Where from Cl you got it? See this Cl. So how many nitrogen? 1, 2, 3. So definitely 3 ammonia required. Now this will react with this HCl again. Now here NH2 will be there, of course, NH2. Now this will react with HCl again to form NH4Cl, and hence you will be getting, that is nothing but COH. So what is this known as? This is called as glycine. This is known as glycine, we can say that. Clear? Similarly, you can do this reaction with KCN. Here let me take that is KCN. See here, so many we can do it. KCN, alcoholic. Alcoholic is a medium, we can say that. So here you will be getting nothing but CN. Alright, CN. And hence here what you will be getting? You will be getting that is nothing but here not this particular one, it will be COOH. Alright, and that is KCl, minus KCl, you will be getting it here. Cl and K, KCl, you got it. So Cn is being added, replaced by Cl. Now this, what you will do is that you will go for hydrolysis, complete hydrolysis. You have studied, I have told you, if you go for complete hydrolysis means 2HOH/H plus, 2 molecules. But I will be getting it. Cn will be converted into COH. So hence, what you will be getting it? You will be getting, that is CH2, one COH is already there. One COH is already there. One more Cn is converted into, what is that? COOH. Complete hydrolysis. Cn first in complete hydrolysis will give you amide CONH2. Another hydrolysis, 2 molecules, will give you what? COH. See what you got, this malonic acid in this way. You can see it. So in this way you can see you can convert one compound into another. You can convert. Alright, next we will go for electrophilic substitution reaction. So electrophilic substitution reaction, it is carried out with difficulty under drastic conditions. Why? Because COH group is a deactivating group. So it does not undergo further substitution for that reason. So hence with the drastic conditions only the the electrophilic substitution reaction is being done by benzoic acid. Alright, so let us do halogenation. Alright, because it is done by aromatic compound. Nah? So I said you already, again I repeat, that electrophilic substitution reaction is not done easily in case of benzoic acid, because here COOH group is a deactivating group. So it does not undergo readily further substitution. Alright, so hence you need to do under drastic conditions. Suppose if I take here Br2 halogen in presence of FeBr3, because FeBr3 will produce the electrophile Br+. So what will happen is that here COH group is electron withdrawing group. It is a meta director, so the incoming electrophile will go to the meta position, that is Br will go to the meta position. COH group is an electron withdrawing group. It's an electron withdrawing group. It is a meta director. Electron withdrawing groups are meta director, you know that. Alright, and electron donor group is ortho para director. So the incoming electrophile will go to the meta position. Already these things are being told to you earlier. So we will be getting HBr. Similarly, if you go for nitration, COH plus HONO2 conc. HONO2 conc. Alright, in presence of H2SO4 conc. H2SO4 conc will remove water. So what will be happening? That is, you will be getting COOH, and in the meta position NO2 group will come, and here you will be getting water. Alright, similarly, if you do with sulfuric acid, COOH plus HOSO3H conc, we can say that concentrated sulfuric acid. No need here anything here, because already I have taken concentrated sulfuric acid. So what I will be getting it? In the meta position, I will be getting SO3H plus water. This is meta-nitrobenzoic acid. This is meta-bromobenzoic acid. But here, this is the primary functional group. You know that. Alright. Or this is the primary functional group. This is the primary functional group. This one. COH. So this is metasulfonic benzoic acid. We can say that. This is not the primary. Again I repeat. Just I said you. Alright. Just I said you. This is not the primary. This is the primary functional group. This is secondary. So it is metasulfonic benzoic acid. You will be getting it. Friedel-Crafts reaction does not take place in case of benzoic acid. Neither Friedel-Crafts acylation or alkylation. I said you. Because benzene ring will become deactivated on further substitution. Because already I said you, COH group is a deactivating group. So further substitution does not take place. Alright. So hence for that particular purpose, to prevent the deactivating of this particular group, we do not go for further substitution by Friedel-Crafts reaction. So Friedel-Crafts reaction does not take place in benzoic acid in aromatic compound, so to say. Clear? Understood? So this is all about this particular one. Thank you.